Hello, I'm going to talk a little bit about winter riding trail etiquette and mostly about the trail itself, and when to ride it and when not to ride it, when your tire pressure is too high, and so on and so forth. So, I want to show you this trail, and if you look at it, it is nicely packed. I mean, this is beautiful. It's about 11 degrees right now, and this is how you want the trail to look. It's actually like if I step on it, it's pretty packed, right? So this is what we want, kind of ideal conditions, but it's not always like this. Sometimes it's looser, stuff like that. In this kind of condition, you can get away with like 7 or 8 psi. Let's turn so I'm not just a shadow in the sun. 7 or 8 psi, I would say, is about what you could run when it's like this and it's colder like this and the trails are really well packed. And on trails that allow it, like Theodore Worth here, you could actually ride a thin, skinnier tire or a normal mountain bike tire. I highly recommend like a 2.6 or 2.8, 3.0 tire, and then just run really low psi, probably 12 to 15 psi in those size tires, and you'd be fine. You wouldn't leave a rut or anything like that. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about leaving a rut. What conditions are there when you'd leave a rut? One would be if it's too warm out. If it's 30 degrees and sunny like this, like it's full on beautiful sunny day today, it's going to be too soft. If it's 30 degrees and cloudy, you're probably going to be okay. Definitely 32 and up is too warm to be riding a trail. If you rode this trail when it gets above 32 degrees, you're going to just ruin it and rut it up, and then when it refreezes, it's going to be really hard for everybody else to ride. So you definitely don't want to ride when it's above freezing. And so what would you see to determine whether you shouldn't be riding the trail or that your tire pressure is too high? Well, if you're riding the trail, and sometimes you'll actually feel it, you'll feel your tire kind of sinking in, or when you pedal it sinks in, that means your tire pressure is too high. But definitely right after you first start riding the trail, look behind you and make sure that you're leaving a nice flat tread like this, and you're not leaving a rut or a single tire indentation from your tire, whether it's a skinny tire or a fat bike tire. If you're leaving a rut, you need to stop and drop some tire pressure. And so what I do is I usually will start with about 8 psi at the beginning of my ride, and I do that usually because the conditions are always so varied, and I never know what the trail's going to be like. So then I'll ride the trail a little bit, actually preferably like the trail leading to the actual single track is where I'll figure out my tire pressure. But I ride the trail a little bit, and if I'm leaving a rut, I'll let a little bit of air out, and then I'll ride again, and I'm tugging like maybe 20, 30 feet, and then I'll stop, let a little air out, and I'll let it air out enough to the point where I'm no longer sinking in and leaving a rut. And that's what you want to do. And if you're on a skinny tire and you're lowering the pressure and you just can't get it low enough to not leave a rut, then it's probably not ideal for riding a normal mountain bike size tire. I would say today you could ride a normal mountain bike tire, but when it gets warmer, it gets a little more challenging. But just use your best judgment. But the idea is if you leave a rut, especially if in the warmer temps, if you ride the trail and leave a big rut and then it refreezes, now there's a rut everybody's getting stuck in, and it makes it almost impossible for everybody else to ride the trail. So you basically ruin the trail for all the other trail users if you leave a rut. And if you leave a rut because your tire pressure is too high, same thing. It makes it challenging for all other riders. Their front wheel wants to track and get caught in that rut and everything, and it's no longer that enjoyable of a ride. So just respect the other riders by running proper tire pressure, not riding when the temperatures are too warm and things like that. And then we can keep our single track trails super nice like this all winter long. Yeah, this is rad. So I'm gonna go out and ride some of this stuff because it is fun. Peace.